Hello friends, this is Nazmican. In this video, we will see two attacking victories played by one of the top players in the world and strongest female player in the history of chess, Judit Polgar. At the age of 12, playing on the second board of the Hungarian national team in the chess Olympiads, Polgar achieved great success by scoring 12.5 points out of 13 games. In these two games, we will see some key concepts in the Sicilian Taimanov, which was successfully used by Judit Polgar. Okay, white is two times women's world chess champion Chinese player Shi Jin, and black is Judit Polgar. White opens the game with the move e4 and Sicilian defense, which was mainly preferred by Polgar throughout her career, and Taimanov variation, which arises after knight c3 and queen c7, is mainly her weapon to this day. The idea of queen c7 is to place the queen on the b8 h2 diagonal actively, controlling the e5 square, and on the semi-open c file. Bishop e2, and grandmasters choose also the other move, bishop e3, with wholly different concept. Queen d2 and long castling idea, followed by the kingside attack with the f3, g4 and h4 ideas. And Shi Jin prefers the more positional bishop e2 line. Then after a6, black is preparing b5 and taking control of this b5 square, castles, knight f6, and in this variation of Sicilian, white has the idea of playing f4, controlling the center and trying to attack it. And in this case, f4 is a blunder, because if f4 then takes, and black wins the game immediately by pinning queen. So for this reason, grandmasters mainly prefer two moves. King h1 is one, and bishop e3 is the other. So in this game, king h1 was played by white, and same idea follows. Bishop c5, activating this bishop, queen d3, and Polgar chooses the most aggressive continuation, h5 here. The idea is simple: checkmate the opponent on h2 square, one of the Taimanov's main assets in this position, which is queen c7, and white goes with her plan f4 and knight g4, simply threatening to play knight f2 and try to open the h file after the exchange on g4. And in this first game, Shi Jin prefers the move knight d1, queen g3. And in the second game, we will examine the move which was played by Friso Nijboer in the following year, knight d1. Okay, let's go to the main move in this game, queen g3, attacking g4 and protecting this f2 square. And Polgar ignores the threat, b5, trying to develop the bishop in the very strong diagonal and sacrifices a pawn in order to open the h file. And white accepts the challenge, bishop takes, h takes, and queen takes g4. And now, although white is a pawn up, she has to be careful because white is a bit underdeveloped and black is about to attack on the h file. And now the threat is b4. The e4 pawn is hanging after knight's retreat, so queen e2 was played. Of course, queen g7 looks tempting, but it's also very dangerous to open the files where your opponent is attacking. Let's say after long castles, black can attack on both of these files, g and h files, so her situation would be critical. Queen e2 and b4, knight d1, and now, although it's possible to castle long, Polgar feels that her king will be safe in the center, king e7, behind these central pawns, connecting the rooks, and try to attack on the h file. Bishop e3, trying to get rid of this strong bishop. Bishop takes, queen takes, and black has to start the attack. And Polgar prepares it with the move rook h4, with the easy idea of rook a h1, 8, and trying to attack on h2 square. So immediately white responds with h3 and trying to get rid of these ideas, rook a h8 and king g1. Okay, it seems that black's attack is going nowhere, so he has to she has to attack more energetically, and g5 move comes here. That idea is simple. h4 rook is also very active on this pawn e4, and as you see, f4 pawn is hard to protect, which is attacked 3 times, so white takes it and bishop takes e4. A new force joins the attack, bishop, and also there is some danger for the black king, which white tries to exploit after queen f2. And I think this is the most beautiful of the game. I think you can stop your video and try to guess the Polgar's idea, which was, I don't think it's very hard to find, but very instructive points. I will give you some time. Did you find it? Okay. If you want to still investigate the position, you can stop your video. White is threatening to take on f7, which can be protected by rook h7, but this leads us nowhere, because after knight e3, white is trying to follow up with rook a d1. Then black cannot sacrifice on h3, which was prepared by the previous moves, because if we take here, then f7 is lost and white is winning after, let's say, king d6, because king d8 is a mate after queen f8, and king d6 is followed by queen f4, and white can even take more material or exchange queens. So Polgar has to combine attack and defense. f5 move does the job, and if white wants to achieve something, he has to take on f6. But after gf6, king f7, now black king uses f6 pawn as shelter to hide behind. And now black is mainly threatening rook h3. Let's say after knight e3, rook takes, and it's impossible to stop all black's threats here. Let's say if you try to block this diagonal by playing knight g2, then black mates with queen h2. If you try to get f2 square with the king, let's say queen e2, then there is also rook h1 move apart from queen g3. After this, we can take on g2 with queen or bishop. Or also rook h1 is winning still. Let's say rook h2 wins the queen here. So white has to protect h3 square, which he does with queen e3. And again, it's time to stop to think what will cause big troubles for white. You can stop your video here. The main idea is to destroy white's pawn formation on the king side, which is covering her king, and bishop takes g2, very strong move in order to destroy king's shelter. And of course it's hard to take king g2 because there is rook g8 move, and after, let's say, king f2, queen will be active on the c file this time. If here, then there's rook e4 move. If here, then there's rook g2 winning the queen. And if, let's say, king g2, rook g8, if king h2, king h1, then a beautiful idea, queen b7 or even queen c6, makes no difference. Check, king cannot go because there's queen g2, and if rook here, also there's no difference after queen f3, the same motif will be played, rook h3 This is checkmate. So as you see, after bishop g2, white cannot take on g2, so she plays queen g5. This move also doesn't lead to any survival for white. And after simple move rook h7, protecting g7 square and preparing rook g8, black wins. I will show some more moves after king g2, rook g8, and black went on to win a very nice game here. And as I promised, we will return back to move and follow with the next game, which was played in the following year in Amsterdam. And Friso Nijboer chose the move knight d1 here. Also, this game illustrates some beautiful attacking motifs by Judit Polgar. After knight d1, b5, the usual stuff. Try to play bishop b7 and grab space on the queen side. a4, trying to destroy the pawn formation on the queen side. b4, it's so important to say that b takes a4 is bad, because after rook takes a4, white gets counterplay here. So b4 and c4. Very interesting move. It has some ideas. First, he wants to get rid of this pawn on c2, which can be attacked via c-file, and he wants to force his opponent to take on c3, and he wants to activate this knight, which is located badly on d1. And also, one idea is to block this diagonal, which might be after, let's say, instead of c4, knight e3, then black might play a5 and play bishop a6. Okay, c4, controlling the d5 square also. Bishop b7, developing move. a5, trying to gain control of some critical squares on the queen side. Castles, and both sides castled, and plans are formed. White will try to attack in the center on the queen side, and black will attack on the king side. Bishop e3, trying to get rid of this attacking forces. After knight takes e3, knight takes c3, black gets one advantage here, bishop pair. And bishop pair likes the open positions. And Judit Polgar immediately tries to open up the position and gain some control of the squares after g5 move. g5 move, trying to get control of the square e5. And after f takes g5, queen e5 double attack. And black gets her material back. Bishop f3, queen g5, attacking e3 knight. Knight d1, trying to relocate the knight by playing knight f2. Queen a5. And as you see, e5 square is very nice for black, that white forces cannot disturb it. And also this move tries to attack on the on this diagonal and on the dark squares. Knight f2, bishop d6. As you see, on the dark squares, white is vulnerable because he has no dark squared bishop. So g3 is almost forced. There's no other move to prevent checkmate here. g3, and as we all know, you can break the pawn chains with your pawns, and h4 comes to rescue here. And black has huge initiative, almost a winning one. White tries to react on the queen side, but it's too late because h takes g3. Now black has to as the idea of mating, rook h2, and the other rook will come here and g pawn attacks on f2. Queen takes d6, rook takes h2, king g1, and g f2, rook f2, rook g8, and black comes first, as I mentioned. Bishop g2 and rook h5. Also, endgames are not pleasant for white, because after, let's say, takes, you can take, all pawns are weak, and black wins. So rook c1 was played. He's trying to attack on the c file. And Polgar now made another brilliant move to attack the white king, which is queen h8, immediately threatening checkmate on h1. And white wants to create some flight square for this king, play rook f7, but this allows a brilliant finish. You can stop the video and try to find the brilliant finish, but it's not very hard to find. Rook h1 move looks also strong, but Polgar played rook takes g2, sacrificing his rook, and try to get back the f7 rook after king takes, queen g8, and it's lost after queen g3. In between move bishop takes e4 check, king f2, queen f7, and black is a piece up, and soon resigned after king e3, bishop c6. Very nice two attacking games by Judit Polgar, which shows some details about Sicilian Taimanov. I hope you like it, and see you in the next video.